So this is going to be an unarmed Grafted Scion run, and it's probably going to take a while because unarmed damage is not very good, and the Grafted Scion is kind of tanky, or at least he seems that way when you're fighting him unarmed. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those weapons because all we need for this are bare fists and maybe a weird old finger. Probably not. Take a moment to appreciate the tree. Lovely. And let's run on to our arena. The Grafted Scion is going to jump down in a moment and try to crush us. It's a really cool entrance. It's kind of a shame to interrupt it, but getting in that damage in the beginning helps, so I have to back fist him. So my strategy for this fight is mostly just backing away from him, trying to get him to do attack sequences that I know are safe to roll into and score some damage. I'm going to shield break this. This is one of the biggest damage contributors in this fight, so getting these stance breaks when he blocks is really helpful for not making this take, 2 or 3 hours. Most of the attacks I do are just the double overhand strike, and they do like 4 damage. The shield break plus crit plus the free hit you get afterwards when he's just kind of down on the ground is about 30 damage, so it's significantly more. And it speeds up what is gonna be a really long fight regardless. So those are important to get. So this is his side block position. I believe he has 3 different shield positions. 2 of them you can pretty much always safely break and get a crit from, and 1 is a bait position that if you try to go in for it, he'll just stab you. The bait position shields, so this is our side block that you can break. So go ahead and do that, get some nice crit damage. So this is a bait shield. It was over his face, but not completely. It was towards the center line over his face, but his face was slightly uncovered. And that distinguishes it from the center block that you can break. This is another side block. The side block is just off to the side farther than the other 2 blocks, so it's pretty easy to distinguish between, or distinguish from them. This is another bait block that doesn't cover his whole face. The center block that you can break looks a lot like that, but it covers his entire center line, including his face. So that was another bait block. Hopefully we get a center line block soon, just to demonstrate the positioning. So this is the center line block. You'll notice it covered his entire center line, including all of his face. It looks pretty similar to the other blocks, especially the bait block. And it's important to distinguish them because if you, like I said earlier, if you go in for a kick on the bait block, you're just going to get stabbed. So this is our center block that is breakable. Grab his weird underbelly. Get a nice little chunk of crit damage. And a slap. watch out for those shield bashes. The side block. Trying to call out the position of these just so anyone that's trying to learn to shield break him can kind of distinguish the differences between them by watching. This is a bait block. But yeah, my strategy is mostly just to back away from him until he does something that I can attack into safely. I don't know what he's doing there, that was weird. He was confused. So I back away from him to bait out stuff I can attack into safely, while also kind of circling him around the arena so that I don't get backed into a wall. It's kind of important because if you get backed into a wall when he's doing a long chain attack, basically you want to roll into him on your terms, but if you get backed into a wall, it forces you to roll into his attacks, regardless of what your plans are, and it kind of throws you off. There's another center block. It's really important for me to get as many of these crits as I can. It's kind of random whether he'll decide to block or not. It's been kind of fortunate he's blocking a lot so far, so I'm getting a lot of crit damage in on him. That was a bait block, and you can see if I go in towards the shield when he's got the bait block up that he just immediately goes into a stab or something. Mostly trying to bait out blocks like this. Yeah, so I'm mostly trying to bait out blocks right now. Honestly, that's kind of most of the fight that I'm trying to do that, but particularly in the beginning it feels good to just, okay, here's another side block. It feels good to get him down a noticeable amount. It slows down later in the fight because he doesn't block as much in his second phase. This is our bait block. Of course, he immediately tries to stab me when I go towards it. I guess you can go in towards the bait blocks. And as long as you're quick, you can roll away from it. That's kind of what I do anyway. I want to get him to stop blocking if it's just a bait block, because it's a waste of time. So long as you don't commit, you should be able to get out, because he pretty much does immediately start attacking when you go in towards the bait blocks. Should be able to break this. And slap. Should not have rolled into that. That could have been dangerous. Go in, just take a little hit. Fighting him unarmed is all about long, slow, cumulative damage. So it's kind of important that I find every opportunity I can to build up damage. A moment ago I did the punch combo. The punch combo has higher damage potential because if you get the full combo off directly on his face, it'll do 8 damage, which is double the damage of the overhead double-handed strike. But it's a little slower, and you can kind of get caught up in the chain. So it puts you at a little more risk of getting hit by something if he transitions quickly. And slap. Sliding attacks are so weird. I haven't figured out a good way to attack into them. He doesn't really do them very often though. These shield stomps are pretty easy to get damage into. You just have to wait until he's finished the animation before running in for the hit. I don't even really get close to him until the animation completes because it's pretty easy to accidentally get caught in his blades as they're coming down. So I kind of keep my distance and then it finishes and I run in for the hit. As long as you're patient and just go in after he finishes the animation, it's pretty risk-free damage. That's a bait shield. I've been pretty fortunate that he's blocking a lot. It's allowing me to accumulate damage pretty quickly. So that spinning slash attack he does is pretty safe damage too. You just have to wait until the blades come around the second time and roll into them. He generally doesn't recover very quickly after he finishes that either. So I'm just going to wait until he lands and then hit. This long slash chain is... It's kind of like the shield breaks where I rely on it throughout this fight because it's one of those things that he does really often. It's pretty easy to bait out if you're just backing away from him for whatever reason. He seems to like that attack a lot. Slap. So he didn't do the final 2 slashes that time. Normally I wait for the... He sometimes does 2 extra slashes at the end. And I usually wait to see if he'll do it here. So yeah, I wait until the final slash and roll in for a hit, and that's also safe. Going into his long slash combo again. Okay, and he finished it so I can roll in and just get a quick hit. Bait shield. In and hit. That spinning attack he does, if you practice it, you can stay with him with roll dodges and get a hit in at the end. I haven't really bothered. It's a little risky because the timing is kind of tight on it. There's that spinning slash again. Like I said, you just have to wait for the second spin and roll through the blades and get a hit. I'm surprised I missed that. I should be able to break this though. Make up for that lost damage. I could have gotten a hit there, but playing a little cowardly. It's kind of how I feel like I need to get through this, because it ends up taking so long. I get prone to mistakes the longer it goes on. Those sleeping slashes can be dangerous. As long as you just roll through them and not with them, you'll be fine. If you roll with them, you can get caught on the like tail end of the animation sometimes and take a hit. But as long as you roll through them, you don't have to worry about that. I think on those leaping slashes, I could probably get damage, and it's kind of hard though because at the end of it, he does a little hop backwards, and it makes closing the gap feel a little unnatural. Because you'll roll through this, you'll roll through the leaping slash, and then he'll step back a bit, so you kind of need to make up that distance, and this kind of throws off my timing. But I probably could do it if I tried harder. I kind of wish you could kick this guy off the ledge. I could probably pretty easily bait him over there. I'm not sure it would really do anything with the Grafted Scions anyway, since they seem to just climb up walls and stuff. I think I probably could have kicked that. I'm pretty sure it was a bait shield, but he wasn't reacting like it was, so I'm not sure, but I was playing a little cautious. Those poles are annoying. I probably should have knocked those down before the fight started. You can get caught on those and it can be dangerous. Nice. Critted him right into the wall. Should be able to break this again and crit him into the wall again. That was a really close stab. I'm surprised I didn't get hit by that. Had very lucky roll timing there. Okay, so that's a good example of how even the shield positions that you can generally break safely can be kind of dangerous if you don't do it fast enough. If you're not close enough and you have to move in, it seems like if you take too long, he'll just go into something else. So that's kind of what he did there. He decided I was taking too long and tried to shield bash me. Those shield bashes are pretty dangerous because they have kind of an odd timing, and they reach farther than you'd expect. So if you see him starting to do it and you just roll back immediately, you're probably going to get caught on the tail end of it. You have time to take a few steps back and then roll, which is what I usually do, or I do 2 rolls back. You should be safe if you do that. Leaping attacks, like the one he just did, are another one of those things that give you a safe opportunity to build up some damage. They're pretty easy to dodge, you just want to make sure you don't dodge them too early. If he goes up in the air and you immediately dodge, you're definitely going to get slammed. You want to wait until just before he lands. Into the wall again. Those look impressive. So yeah, I just kind of like them. Little pat on the back after a leaping strike. I should really get away from this corner I'm backed up in. I forgot to mention that for that series of attacks, when he does a stab towards the end, you'll notice I step to the left. It just prevents you from getting hit by that stab without having to roll or anything. So long as you stay off to the left during that, it won't hit you. It'll just go right by your face. Wait for this animation and slap it. Yeah, those sliding attacks he does are kind of weird. I haven't found a good way to attack into those. Screams are another good attack opportunity. Does them pretty often. And I kind of feel like you can bait them out if you hit him in the face or the top of the head. It seems to make him do it more often. I have no idea if that's just confirmation bias on my part, but it sure seems like it. And basically with the screams, you just want to do... I usually do like one back roll, and that should give you enough distance that you don't get damaged by it, and then you can just stand there, and when it's about to finish, you roll back in and just hit for the face again. So yeah, that seemed kind of close, but normally I wait until right before he lands to dodge roll away from those, just to make sure I stay close enough to him to land a hit. Occasionally those leaping strikes can do some weird positioning stuff with him when he lands. That makes you like a little too far away to hit, and it's kind of awkward to run up or whatever to get a hit. We're approaching halfway now, which is nice. I think a few more hits to 50% probably after I shield break this. Grab that yucky underbelly. Pull weird stuff out of there for our 23 damage. Just wait, roll in, and then slap. It's kind of how you handle the screaming things. The screams. That's a bait shield for sure. I like these Grafted Scions a lot. I've probably fought them more than anything. I kind of wish you could just talk it out with them. I would imagine being able to get one of these as a companion would be pretty awesome in this. Or maybe you could get one as a maiden. You wake up after this fight next to Torrent, and there's a Grafted Scion there staring at you. That would be pretty cool. Even if they are a little grotesque. I have no idea if these are supposed to have free will or not, though. They kind of seem mindlessly aggressive. Although in this situation, I did kind of start it. He leapt into the arena and I immediately back-fisted him. So I'm kind of the aggressor here, but just generally they seem mindlessly aggressive. Kind of assume that's part of the grafting process. I don't know. From Godfrey or Godric or whoever does that. Those weirdos. It is kind of interesting that he has all of these odd amalgamated limbs that are functional, but like the one normal arm just kind of hangs there. I think it would actually add some functionality to him if he had a little sword in that arm too. It would make him more effective. Should be able to break this. That was one of those kind of dangerous ones. I took a little too long to run up to it and almost got sliced for it. Grafted Scions are really pitiable, though. They get turned into a monstrosity by some weird dude. And now they're having to fight me, and I'm basically doing death by 1,000 slaps. Not sure who the real monster is in this situation. Like, we both look pretty bad right now, and I've not taken any damage, so... Producing all of this from just slaps. It's pretty mean, the Grafted Scion. It's definitely not a merciful form of combat. Okay, so we just hit... Well, he actually looks like he's a little lower than 50%, but... He's entered the phase where now he's going to use the sword art every time he can. So the swords are enchanted most of the rest of the fight, and it doesn't really change anything in the fight. It doesn't change his attack patterns or anything, and I'm not even really sure they do more damage. The only problem they cause for me is that he doesn't block while those swords are enchanted. And since I was getting so much damage from breaking his shield stance, it's going to slow down the fight a lot, basically. Which is kind of unfortunate because we're already at like 30 minutes. And my fingers are getting a little sluggish at this point. There are periods where the enchantment falls off, and during those periods he'll block, though. So there is still the occasional opportunity to get a shield break in. He just doesn't do it as often. That was weird. He doesn't do that very often. But leaping slashes are actually one of the more dangerous things for me when it gets later into the fight. Like I said, my dodge finger gets kind of sluggish. And for some reason the timing of those leap slashes is just hard for me. If my finger's sluggish, they're, like, at the beginning of the fight, they're super easy. Be too far away to get a hit here. I was lucky. I thought I was too far away to land that. Be able to break here, which is really nice for this part of the fight. There's few opportunities for that, so every one that I get in feels really good. It's really the only thing that noticeably moves his HP bar. We should get another one. Straight into the wall. Well, that was a good series of shield breaks. Just kind of ignore that last miss. I dodged a little too early there. I'm kind of lucky he wasn't closer, or I probably would have gotten hit. Could have followed that up with another hit if I had rolled into him. Kind of playing a little too cautiously now. It feels pretty mean to roll in and slap him right after he screams. I don't remember if I already mentioned it, but when he does that stomp attack, if he's next to you and you need to get away, your best bet is to roll under him towards his back. He doesn't hit. His underside doesn't get hit by anything. It's basically just all in the front. You can roll back from it like I did, or like I usually do. But it's easier to get tagged that way if you don't time it right. You're pretty much always safe if you just go under him when he starts that. Hang out around his back end. I hate when he doesn't finish this combo. I could roll in and take a hit anyway, but he'll sometimes switch into like a double overhead sword slam. But he'll other times do like the shield bash or some slash attack. It's just a little too unpredictable. Probably could have hit him there. It's harder than you would think to get hits on him when he's doing his sword art animation. I never seem to be close enough. I think he does it faster than it seems, so he'll move into some other attack pretty quickly after. Those leaping slashes all get my heart moving a little faster at the end of the fight. Should be able to roll in and hit here. A little pat on the back, nice. Hopefully we can get him to block all the enchantments off of his swords. Okay, that didn't last very long. He reapplied that super fast that time. I really hate when he enchants the swords. It makes the fight take so much longer than it would otherwise. The sword art itself I actually like a lot. I think it's my favorite in the game. The long pokey attack it gives you is my favorite attack in the game for sure. But him in particular, when he uses it, I just don't like fighting him for this portion. I don't know why he won't block when it's up. It's kind of weird. Roll in, score another little back pat. Try not to get stomped. Should be able to go in here too. This fight admittedly gets kind of repetitive when it goes on for this long. It's kind of just dodge, slap, the same stuff over and over. It's definitely an endurance fight. Ate a bunch of sugar before it started. So I had kind of a sugar rush at the beginning. That wore off like 20 minutes ago though, so now I'm just feeling sluggish. Kind of feeling this combat fatigue. Rolling over and over this long really gets your fingers sluggish. Kind of have to find opportunities to shake my hand out. And he doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to move your hands. He's always trying to do something to get you. I guess another thing I didn't mention is that you also want to be careful around these stone formations. You can actually get stuck on the edges of them sometimes. It's weird. I've gotten stuck rolling into them before. If that happens when he's in one of his combos, you're probably gonna get hit. So I try not to be on or around them. Actually, on that note, you can get stuck on the inside of his shield sometimes. So I've not had it happen to me too often, but if you're close to him and you dodge roll back, you can get wedged between him and his shield, which is obviously a really bad place to be. It's just something to be aware of. I really should roll under him when he does that. It's hard for me to get out of the habit of rolling away. You can get away with it when you're light rolling like I am. If you've got a slower roll though, it's pretty dangerous to try to roll away from him. You really should just roll under him when he does the stomps. And going for the slap. Hopefully get another one. 8 damage, nice. You can kind of see how much slower it's going without being able to get consistent shield breaks. Slowed down to kind of a painful degree. Well, that was kind of a good example of both of those attacks. Just wait until the final slash to roll in, hit him in the face, and then he screams. You roll back to avoid any damage from it, then you just roll back in right before he finishes. Wow, 2 shield breaks in a row at this point is really fortunate. It's the only thing that has noticeably moved the bar in a while. Definitely a morale victory. That was a pretty sad miss. Wait for him to finish and slap. Good, he did the final 2 slashes that time. Give me a little extra damage. And he did it again, nice. That was kind of a quick follow-up. I almost got slashed. Wasn't expecting that. I like when he runs up menacingly and then tries to stomp. Kind of funny. Not sure what these are supposed to be grafted with. They've definitely got some bird wings or something. Mostly just weird arms. Oh, I should not have gotten hit there. This is no longer a no-hit perfect run. Which is unfortunate because I really shouldn't have been hit there. I got a little complacent and was too close to him. I thought that I was out of range. But some of these attacks are kind of deceptive in their reach. So unfortunately I got tagged. This kind of puts me in the position where if I get hit again, it will probably finish me off. So I'm a bit more pressured not to make any more mistakes. That's kind of my one mistake, I guess. It would feel pretty bad to get taken out at this point. It's been so long. I feel like this is like our third night cycle. I'm not sure what the passage of time is like in the lands between. But it does kind of feel like we've been fighting for 2.5 days, if that's how it works. Okay, hopefully he finishes this nice. Let me get some extra damage. I should be able to get more here. That was a really nice series of attacks. I got like four light heavies in, and then a shield break. It's a lot of damage for a short amount of time at this point. It's so hard to get an attack in when he's doing that sword art. I was kind of going for it, but I knew I wasn't going to get there in time. Just change things up with a little punch to the face. That was close. I'm pretty lucky that I waited a moment to dodge roll out of that. If I had dodge rolled if I had dodge rolled out immediately, I would have been hit by that slash. it is helpful sometimes to wait a moment before you roll dodge away from him. Just in case he decides to do like a slightly delayed long range attack. Most of his attacks have such long reach that he can just tag you at the end of a dodge roll if they're still in animation. That was unfortunate. It's nice that I got the shield break, but without the crit, it's just unfortunate. He's probably a little lower than 20% right now. It's kind of hard to tell. He likes to stab down his center line a lot. It's one of the reasons I like to be on his sides. When he's doing that long slash combo, I like to be off to the left. When I'm up closer to him, I like to be kind of on his right side towards the shield. So long as you're off to the right, those midline stabs won't hit you. Really hard for me to keep focused at this point. He did his silly run up and tried to stomp me again. I like those. Super deadly, but not very intimidating. Should be able to roll in here. Oh, I could have scored an extra hit there. That was a weird leap slash. He did it in the completely wrong direction. I guess he's getting kind of tired too. slash, 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 slap. Roll in and slap. Really need to make sure I'm closer when I use those attacks. I go in for an attack like that and miss, it really throws me off. It kind of puts me in a risky spot. Kind of messes up my timing. Well, I finally got an attack off on him during that sword art animation. Spinning back fist. It was a little risky because I almost got hit, but it was pretty cool, so probably worth it. Getting kind of backed up into a corner here. I really need to get out of here. Very dangerous position to be in. But it looks like I'm out of it, so that's good. I could have landed a hit there, but I am being kind of overly cautious now. I really should figure out how to roll along with him when he does that spinning slide. I know you can pretty much get a hit in after he does every ability he does, or every attack pattern he does. I just unfortunately don't know the timings of all of them well enough to reliably do it. I kind of just stick to what I know really well. In the future, I definitely should learn the roll timings for his, in particular, the sliding, spinning attack he does. I know you can roll with him when he does that because I've done it before. I think the problem is that he just doesn't do that particular attack very often, so it's kind of hard to get experienced with. I probably rely on this pattern a little too much. It's just super easy. It's super obvious and really easy to dodge into. He does tend to do that particular attack pattern way more than all the others, though, so kind of makes sense that this one would be easiest for me. Feels like it's been forever since I had a nice shield break. Hopefully he will give me one once the enchantment wears off. Give me a little morale boost. It's been over an hour at this point, so I kind of need some encouragement to keep focused. I don't know how many times I've slapped him, but it really does feel like I've slapped him 1,000 times. I feel like at this rate, I need to slap him. If I get no more shield breaks, I need to slap him like 100 times. That's kind of a dangerous roll dodge, rolling with that. Finish your combo. Hate when he doesn't finish the combo. And he did it again. Not that he's obligated to help me, but at this point, I would really appreciate it. That was kind of a stylish roll dodge. Pretty pointless, but it looked cool. Just a little boop on the head. Need like 98 more, or 97. I'm not going to actually start counting because I think that'd be annoying, but I do think that my estimate was just about right. Of course, if I get lucky and get a shield break or two, that would kind of throw it off. I wouldn't complain about that, though. My eyes are kind of getting tired and the flashing blades are confusing me. They're getting too focused on them, making it a little harder to dodge efficiently. My gamer fingers are also getting tired. These are some real gamer problems for me. That could have been a dangerous miss. He did one of those kind of delayed timing follow-ups. Those are really dangerous if you just get into like a pattern of dodging away immediately. And then he is just like, wait a second. I've gotten hit by that particular thing a lot. Just having him delay one of his attacks a moment. Nice little combo, and then maybe a back pat. Hopefully I can bait out a shield break. It'd be too far away to land this. That was dangerous. I probably shouldn't have done that. Sprinting up like that. That is such a cool attack. I love just poking stuff a bunch, especially those annoying little gargoyles. I love poking those things. Although it's just now occurring to me that I am basically one of those little gargoyles to him. They move around super fast, all over the place. They jump back every time you try to hit them and then jump forward and slap you. Which is basically what I'm doing to him. So I don't feel good about that, because I hate those gargoyles. But I guess their attack strategy works. He's toying with me with these bait shields now. Yep, 2 bait shields in a row. Wish you would just actually put up a breakable block. That would be nice. Okay, this is one. Perfect. We finally got to see his HP bar move a noticeable amount after quite a while, so that's nice. I can't remember if it's Godric or Godfrey that does the grafting. I think it's Godric. He would be cooler if he used the swords he equips these Grafted Scions with. I'm assuming he equips them. I don't think they just found this equipment. Kind of think his hammer and axe or whatever is kind of lame. These swords are definitely cooler. I feel like he'd be more effective with the shield as well. Okay, maybe I can get this. Yes. Look at the HP bar move. Getting so close to victory right now. I think I could have gone in for that. I thought it was a bait shield, but I think it actually wasn't. I probably could have kicked that. Little pat on the back and a slap in the face. Godric makes terrible use of these things too. Imagine if he just guarded himself with like 4 of them. Having to fight 4 of these at the same time would be terrible. Instead, he relies on a dead dragon head. It's a terrible, inefficient plan considering his resources. I guess that's why I'm going to be the Elden Lord and not him. Getting pretty close. I feel like at this point we need... Actually, it's kind of hard to say. Maybe 15 slaps? I think we would need 2.5 shield breaks or like 15 slaps. It would be awesome if I could finish this with a shield break crit. I'm definitely not going to wait for that opportunity though. I'm going to take whatever finishing blow I can get, even if it's a super lame slap. I've come a little too far to risk it on the cool finish. That was weird and I almost got stabbed. He doesn't go into that double stab backstep thing very often. I think I was actually saved just because of that positioning that I was talking about earlier, staying like off to the right in his shield. I think the stab missed me because of my positioning. I could be wrong though, I'd have to go back and look. Just kind of looking for an excuse to validate my previous suggestions. I'm going to say we need 10 slaps now. That was another one of those dangerous misses. He keeps doing the menacing crab walk towards me. I know all of his tricks at this point, though. I am not intimidated. I feel like we need 2 or 3 more hits. Okay, I'm gonna say 2. So close. Okay, apparently it was 3. I think we need 1 more. I should have just run and back fisted him. I definitely would have gotten stabbed. Okay, now it's 1. Yes. Being kind of subdued, but I'm ecstatic about that, actually. It was a really long fight. If anyone actually watched this all the way through, I appreciate it. You're awesome. Let's take a moment to bask in glory. After defeating the Grafted Scion unarmed. Death by 1,000 slaps. Nice.